What's going on, guys? I'm coming to you today with an actual detailed video on the STIHL BR450. I didn't do that in my intro video because I just didn't have time. It was getting dark on me, and I thought to myself, you know, I can do it all together, or I can make two separate videos. That way in the detailed video, I can go more in depth and take my time. I don't have to be in such a rush. So that's what I decided to do. But before we get into that, I want you to look at this graph. This graph shows that only 20% of you that are watching my videos are actually subscribed to my channel. Guys, let me explain something to you. And I know you've probably heard this from other YouTubers, but when you watch a video and you're not subscribed and you don't leave a like on the video, that just lets YouTube, the algorithm, know that, hey, I watched this video, but I'm not really interested in what the channel has to offer. And that kind of hurts the channel. Am I complaining? No, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're watching. But I would greatly appreciate it if you could help the channel out. I'm doing these videos to give you information that maybe you don't know. And you clicked on the video for a reason. You wanted to see what the information that was contained in the video, and that's why I'm doing these videos. But please consider subscribing and like the video whether you subscribe or not. That lets the algorithm of YouTube know, hey, I like what was in this video. Please recommend it more often, and it would move my channel up further and get me more recognition, i.e. more subscribers and more views, and I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, on with it. My name is Brian if you're new to the channel and you're watching. Before I go any further, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Big South Outdoors TV. So what am I going to be doing? Well, I've got the booklet here. I'm going to be pulling the blower up here in just a few minutes. But before I did that, yeah, I have to have reading glasses. There's two different, you got the BR450 and the BR450C. Now, what's the difference? Well, the BR450 is your standard pull start blower. The 450C is the electric start. Now, I haven't gotten to the point yet that I need an electric start blower, but you know, if I ever do get to that point, it's good to know that it's there. So I've already looked in the book because I didn't want to waste time doing that. I know I got to go to page 29. Now I'm going to talk about the engine. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Whoa, almost fell. But there's the engine specifications right there. And the engine specifications are as follows. It's a single cylinder, two-stroke engine. Displacement is 3.86 cubic inches or 63.3 cc. The bore is a 1.89 inch or 48 millimeter. The stroke is a 1.38 or 35 millimeter, and the idle speed is 3,000 RPMs. The engine power is 2.9 kilowatts or 3.9 brake horsepower. Now, brake horsepower, I don't know how they measure that. I know that's something they use over across the pond in Europe, but from my understanding, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I think I'm right. Brake horsepower is actually less than standard American horsepower. So I'll check that myself with Google or DuckDuckGo and confirm that, and if it's any different, I will put a disclaimer down here in the bottom of the video. So what kind of blowing power does this machine have? Well, get down here to blowing performance. As you can see right there, it says blowing performance. The blowing force is 28 newtons. The air velocity, which means how much force the air is coming out of the tube, or the wind speed, is 186 miles an hour. Now, in comparison, the Echo, that I hope you've seen the video by now. If you haven't, there'll be a link in the description below for when I took the Echo to the shop. And if I'm not mistaken, that thing produces it's 947 CFM, and it blows over 212 miles an hour. This one blows 186 miles an hour. The airflow on this one, as I said, the Echo was 947 CFM. This one is 642 CFM. Now you might ask, Brian, why did you buy a smaller blower? Well, there's a method to my madness. I was planning on buying one of these blowers towards the end of the summer. I was not planning on buying one right now. But with the situation the way it is, with the weather the way you see how cloudy it is, we're supposed to have severe storms and high winds. Well, that's going to create a mess. So I couldn't wait. In the event that I had work, that I had to do immediately, I couldn't wait for a week or so for them to get that blower fixed. I had to have a blower now. And thank God, to God be the glory, I can afford it. And that's all due to having year-round wintertime work. And I do not shut down in the wintertime. That's a story for another time though. But I do not shut down in the wintertime. I can't afford to. I have to keep going. I have a business to run and a household to support. But anyway, I was looking at this blower because of the video I did with my brother from another mother. And I really liked what I saw with that blower. I really liked the way it operated. I really liked the weight. I really liked the sound. It's not extremely loud, but it did almost as good a job as the Echo did. But at the end of the day, having the force blowing against you, you weren't near as tired. So I bought this blower now because I have to have a blower. I can't go a day without a blower, because when you get through with the job, you have to use the blower to clean up. And if you've ever raked or used a backpack blower, you know a backpack blower cuts the time by almost 3/3, if that makes any sense. But as you can tell, I'm still kind of congested. Flossie's sick, and now Nate woke up this morning with a fever. So there's that. Well, I went and looked at this blower. Well, let me back up. When I went and made the trip up north to take the Echo to be repaired, I looked at their blowers, and their blowers were bigger than this one, but they didn't blow as much CFM, they didn't blow as much air velocity, and they were heavier. That's why I went to look at this one, because my buddy had one and I had used his, and that's why I went this way. But because I know some of you are going to be looking at this video and videos to come and saying, wait a minute, you've always used an Echo blower. Well, I'm still going to be using an Echo blower, but it's in the shop right now. Hopefully it won't cost an arm and a leg to get it fixed, but you know, it is what it is. If it's not worth fixing, i.e. if it's more than $350 for a 5 to 6 year old blower, I'll probably just buy a brand new one. But it depends on what the repair cost is going to be and how much life is left in the blower. So let's get on. Yeah, they're talking about high winds today, and it's already starting to kick up. Okay, the airflow rate is 642 CFM, or 1,090 meters times 3 per hour, meters to the third power. Max air velocity, that's the max it'll put out, is 222 miles an hour. Max airflow rate is 842 CFM. Now, there's a little thing that we know in the industry. What this means is, with the tube, it'll put out 640 cubic feet per minute. Without the tube, it'll put out 1,000 or 1,430 meters per hour. without the tube, or with the tube, it blows 186 miles an hour, and without the tube, it blows 222 miles an hour. So if you look at a manual like this and it says max air velocity, that 222, there's a discrepancy there. That just means that the lower number is with the tube, the higher number is without the tube. That's what that means. So anyway, let me get the blower up here and show you some features that I really like. Now I'm gonna have to stop the camera and get everything set up so I can bring the blower up here. So hang on just a second. All right, now I've got the camera set up. Let me pick this thing up and bring it up here. Now, having run STIHL in the past, I'm somewhat familiar with how they operate, but the one thing that they've changed is, there we go. They've always had the Velcro strap, which I won't need that because I've got a blower rack. As a matter of fact, I've got to adjust my blower rack to fit this blower. Actually, they've got this thing on there where you can't get it off unless you take the whole thing apart. And let me get back over here where the camera can see me fully. What you do, you twist this off and it just comes off, and then you can take this strap off of here. I'm not going to take it off now because I'm still storing it, but that's how you do it. But the other thing I did want to point out, if you're not familiar with STIHL products, the one thing they've done with the lower and some of the upper, not all of them. I know the 500 does not have this. As a matter of fact, I found out something yesterday about the 500 that I really didn't like, because it restricts airflow. If you've ever looked underneath a car, they have and the exhaust has what they call a resonator. Well, everybody says a resonator doesn't stop airflow and it doesn't restrict sound. Baloney, it does too. When I did the exhaust on Clifford, and they left, I said in the beginning of that video that I was going to leave the resonator on because I go into some really nice neighborhoods and I didn't want my truck being obnoxious. Well, he cranked it up with the resonator still on it. You couldn't even hear it. I mean, it sounded just like the stock muffler that was on it. And Clifford had a pre-muffler resonator and a post resonator. Well, I told him to take all that crap off and just put a straight pipe in it and dual exhaust it out the back. And that's what they did. And now you've seen my videos, you can hear Clifford, but he's not overly obnoxious, and that's what I wanted. It's a classy, crisp, low tone growl. It's not a blat sound, blat blat blat, that I cannot stand. To each his own. Some people may like that. I didn't. But the 500 blowers, they have the tube this size, and then it reduces down to almost this size. Let me see if I can turn this. Let me get on this side of the table. It goes from this size down to this size, and then you've got this great big barrel thing in the middle of the tube. And you look inside of it, and it's a perforated tube with, well, it's got holes in it. And I asked the owner, his name is Danny, I said, what is this thing? He said, it's a resonator. I said, you're kidding me. They are putting resonators on blowers now? See, guys, the sound is not produced here in this tube. The sound is produced back here, coming out of the muffler. And why in God's name they would put a resonator in an airflow tube, I have no clue. But that's the main thing, and I'm being straight up honest with you. That's the main reason why I didn't buy the 500, because that thing, they told me it was very restrictive, and it actually blows less velocity and CFM, cubic feet per minute, than this moves and blows. And that's why I went with this one instead of buying the 500. I was looking at it seriously until I walked over to the counter where they were displayed, And I saw this big old obnoxious looking thing, and I was like, what is this? And the owner, Danny, said that's a resonator. And I'm like, you're freaking kidding me. But anyway, I have made this statement online on other videos, and I'm gonna make it on my own channel. I have no intention, zero intention of going electric. I will not ever buy an electric lawnmower, and I will not ever run electric machines. That's enough of that. So, on with the intro and the details. Now, the one thing I used to hate about STIHL blowers is the kickback. They had such high compression, and they had no compression relief in the carburation system, or in the engine rather. Now, this one seems to have it. I have not even pulled the string yet. They started it up at the dealership to make sure it was going to crank like it's supposed to. I have not even pulled the rope on this yet. You're witnessing me starting this for the first time. Now, the way they told me to do it, you have your on and off. I mean, no, you're on and off right there. That's the start, and that's the throttle lock. Now, let me get it over here and make sure it's in the camera. Down is turning the machine off. The middle, it springs back to the middle automatically, so you don't have to click like you do on the Echo. You got to make sure it's in the start position. This one automatically goes there. Then you do like this, and it goes to the throttle lock. Now, the throttle lock is adjustable. It's a slight adjustment. You can set it to whatever speed you want. The straps, actually, they're very tight right now, and I'll never get them around my thick shoulders. But that will be, I will adjust that when I get ready to use it. The padding is good. I knew it. Car coming down the road. Give me a second, guys. I want to make sure they're out of the shop before I... Okay, I'm pretty sure they're gone. When you would pull the rope, like I had a BR600 Magnum. When you'd pull the rope, it would get about right here, and it would snatch out of your hand like that. And if you were holding it tight, it would near about break your wrist. I mean, it kicked back that hard. So the way they told me to start this is you push it in, turn the throttle, turn the choke, and then you just pull. It'll start, and then you let it run until it sounds like it's going to choke off, and then you hit the throttle, and that releases the choke. So let's try that. He said you put your hand right here. Oh yeah. Now you do that. This is the first time I've heard it run, and it runs quiet. And there's a good bit of wind coming out of there too. Click it like that and let it go, and it turns right off. Now, the one thing that they showed me yesterday is in order to adjust this piece, you should just flip this down, and you can adjust this however you want to adjust it. I have not adjusted it for my arm length yet. I won't do that until I get on the job. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to, oh, I almost forgot. What kind of warranty does this have? This has a full 2-year commercial warranty. Unless you buy this oil here on your purchase, You don't have to run this all the time. That's the one thing they emphasize to me. You do not have to use this oil every time. You buy this 6-pack of oil and it doubles the warranty. Now, is it worth that? Yeah. This package of oil, I'll have to look at my receipt. I think it was like $13, $14, something like that. I think it's like, well, it may be more than that. Hold on a minute. All right, guys, I got my receipt here. That's it right there. And I'm gonna cover up my information, but you can see Lanky's Bicycle Shop right there. So the bottle of oil is $4.50 a piece, or the 6-pack is $27. And for that, they give you an extra 2-year warranty for buying this 6-pack of oil. So I think $27 to get an extra 2 years is well worth it. So let me get set up. I'm going to get the straps adjusted to my shoulders, and I'm going to demonstrate this thing, let you see how it works. Alright guys, I got it. Got the straps adjusted to my shoulders. It's still a little tight, but I can work with it. I've got the tubes slid out. I'm gonna crank it up, and we're gonna do some quick blowing just to let you see how it works. So, and no, I do not have hearing protection, but for the purposes of this video demonstrating this machine, I think I can get away with it. So, as a person, as a man that's been in business for 25 years almost, March will be starting my 25th year, which is the day after tomorrow. What is my opinion of this blower? Well, number one, it's extremely light. It does not wear you out. Number two, does it do the job? Well, I think you can see for yourself. Let me get behind the camera and turn it around, point it to the ground. I think you can see it does the job, and it does it in a timely fashion. It does not take an exorbitant amount of time to get the job done. The one thing I noticed with this blower, I'm staying away from the camera because I don't know if I'm in the shot or not. The one thing I noticed about it, it doesn't dig holes in the ground like the Echo PB8010T. Now, is that a bad thing? No. Is the digging holes a good thing? No. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a far more powerful blower. I always had to hold the tube out like this and scatter the debris further out so I wouldn't dig holes in the ground. Did I like that? Yeah, when you're moving heavy debris, that thing's a powerhouse, and it is phenomenal for what it is. But this thing does just as good a job. You saw that it didn't take me long to blow all these leaves around this Bradford pear tree over into that area. It didn't take long at all. And when you're on a job, I've said this a million times on my channel, but time is money. And the faster you can get a job done, do the same quality job in less time, the more money you make by the hour. I mean, you know, you give a customer a price of $300 to clean up their yard, and you do it, you say it's estimated on, you know, 4 hours work, and you get it done in 3.5. They don't mind paying you the money because you come out smelling like a rose. Having not operated STIHL blowers for a while, I like this thing. I really, really do. I would recommend this to anybody, especially if you're just getting started in lawn care. Look into this blower, guys, because I'm telling you, it will do the job. What I'm going to like about it is you can shorten that tube and blow in flower beds when you trim the shrubs. You can blow around the shrubs because the tube is compact, and you can finesse it, and you're not blowing the mulch or the pine straw or whatever happens to be in the bed as ground cover. You're not disturbing it and blowing it all over the place. That is the one complaint I always had about that Echo. It was so big and so powerful that you really had to be careful, because if you didn't, you'd blow the ground cover out into the yard and you'd have to put it back. But the one thing I thought about when I was blowing over here, when I got up next to that bed right there, it's not really a bed, it's just where the leaves have fallen. But the one thing I thought about was when I put pine straw out and I go to curl the edge under to give it that finished look, this thing is going to come in phenomenal. I mean, it's going to come in so handy for that. That Echo, it's a good blower, don't get me wrong. I hope I get it back. I hope it don't cost me an arm and a leg to get it fixed. But that's the one thing even Nate will tell you, you had to be really careful, because it would just lift the pine straw and blow it everywhere. This thing I don't think is going to do that. So my I guess you would say my synopsis, is it a good blower? Absolutely. Is it worth the money? Absolutely. And you buy that oil, you get a 4-year warranty instead of a 2-year. Is it a good starter blower? Absolutely. Is it a good everyday blower? Absolutely. Does it get the job done? Absolutely. Does it wear you out? Absolutely not. So that is my opinion based on what little bit I've used it. That is my opinion of the STIHL BR450. Guys, please like and subscribe to the channel. I told you in the beginning of this video how when you watch the video but you don't subscribe, it actually ends up hurting the channel in the long run. So please subscribe to the channel. I'm not begging. I'm just saying, if you're watching my videos anyway, please subscribe. That just helps the channel. It helps me bring you back more content like this. And I've also got and I'm gonna give you a little teaser. I've got a piece of equipment that I've had for over a year. It's been in my shop. A customer gave it to me, and I'll give you more details on that. I'm going to be making a video with that over the weekend, and I'll be releasing it probably sometime in the next week and a half. You're not going to believe it. But anyway, that's it, guys. Another thing. When you come up on an ad on my channel, mute the TV and go to the bathroom. Don't skip the ad. That's how I get paid. And the more I get paid, I'm not asking you to pay me. You're not paying me, YouTube is. The more I get paid, the more incentive I have to bring you better quality content. So, that being said, this is Brian with Big South Outdoors TV, reminding you to live big, live southern, and live outdoors. Until we meet again, folks, have a good one.